So it has been long since we met, but yes, we can connect here.
Yes, of course.
So let me start. So first of all, Surajit, congratulations Team Estel for being the first company to deliver an e-top-up transformation on microservices. So what was the motivation for Estel to invest in adapting a microservices architecture for its product?
Okay. Estel always adapts to the need of its customers and clients. We strongly believe that our success will be ensured by keeping our customers ahead of competition. It all started with discussions and preparations to accommodate huge volumes of transaction spikes during special events and festivals. Telcos needed to temporarily augment hardware infra to accommodate the boost of such transaction volumes. Now, this was a real pain. I mean, every time during every festival or every special days where they were expecting large amount of volumes, they had to augment their infra. Also, their COTS, third-party software licenses, they had to procure. It was a large cost, but not investing would be a opportunity lost. So they had to invest. What was needed was an elastic or a balloon-like architecture that could automatically scale up when there is a incoming increase of transaction, increase in volume of transactions, and scale down when the incoming traffic reduced. While this could be achieved in a SOA architecture also, but only a true cloud native microservices architecture could achieve the maximum optimization out of this. Only the transaction processing services could be scaled, while the static services need not be scaled. In a public cloud, telcos could pay for only the infra they use during this high volume peaks that they receive during the festivals and special days. And obviously they don't have to invest in OPEX or CAPEX that they had to do earlier, and it definitely saves costs. To answer your question in one sentence, microservices was adopted by Estel as it was the need and ask from our customers and the industry. So Sud, you have played a big role in designing and architecting our microservices based solution. Tell us something more about the exciting new eTop-Up product and its capabilities.
Well, to answer this, I'll first talk about microservices. So when we talk about microservices, it's more about cost optimization, speed, and availability. And these are achieved by splitting the software, which used to be monolithic or later maybe modular, into various smaller services. Okay? We call them microservices. So you know the name. And then we run them in Docker containers, orchestrated using Kubernetes. Okay. Now, earlier when we use virtual machines to run our applications, if anything goes wrong with any of the machines, the whole VM needed to be not say rebuilt, to, at least it had to be restarted, which used to take a few minutes. But with Docker containers, they can go off and on within a few seconds. So you know what can we achieve with something like that. So let me take you through an architecture diagram, and then we will understand it better. So here we can see in this diagram, the services are broken down and deployed in containers. all stateless components are disseminated into smaller services, and this makes the service highly available. It can be auto-scaled by each service now. This means that only those services that are processing transactions need to scale up. Others with more static service need not. And that is where you save cost. Okay. Further with DevOps, CI/CD pipelines, you can do automated testing and deployment all with a single click. So, and this gives telco the edge and ability to react to competition very, very quickly. Now, this was about the product, but Surajit, since you talk to telcos and clients, how does this microservices architecture help your clients?
Okay. First of all, thanks, Sudhanshu, for the description of the product, which you explained really well, and how it benefits our clients and telcos. So, with their reducing ARPUs and their network utilizations shifting more towards data usage, telcos have been trying to move more and more of their OSS and BSS network elements into the cloud, primarily to reduce the OPEX as well as CAPEX. The a lot of these elements are also available as a NAS, a network as a service. Quite a few vendors offer their products as NAS. So for obvious benefits that you explained, cost, optimization, it is secure and very highly available. Of course, the speed of implementing changes keeps them ahead of their competition. They can implement CRs and significant changes into the platform just by a click. I think our decision of moving our solution to microservices architecture is aligned to the vision of our customers as well as the telco industry.
Very true. But whenever there is a change, any change comes at a cost. There is a cost involved, and who knows better about cost than you, right? So I would like to understand from the point of view of customers, what kind of investment is required from a customer like a telco or a service provider to migrate or transform their network into a cloud native architecture from their current SOA architecture.
Okay, Sudhanshu, that is a tough one. I think we should look at it holistically, not just the cost of transformation. When we look at it holistically, it's not just the price of the product, and we should factor in the savings that telcos achieve from the optimizations of the CAPEX, the gains from the high availability and the speed of countering competition. I can safely say that it would effectively cost 40% lesser than traditional SOA deployment over a period of 5 years. I think the benefits and the system, the transformed system, would pay for itself.
That's good to know. But now,
yeah. So Sudhanshu, since you are the technical expert, what kind of timelines are required to do a e-top-up transformation from SOA to microservices?
From our experience of being the first one in transforming an e-top-up platform to a microservices architecture deployment for a major telco customer in Philippines, I would say that it depends on the size of data and the nature of services that the customer has. So since you know that in microservices, we break down the architecture service-wise. So depends on the complexity there. But I can tell you that an e-top of solution can be delivered uh, roughly in 6 to 8 months with zero impact and zero outage, zero business impact, I mean to say.
That's actually fantastic. So the eTop platform being the cash register of telco, all their revenues flow through the eTop platform. The risk appetite of telcos are very low on specifically on the eTop. What kind of migration risks do you see in such transformations?
To answer you that, there are risks, but with the right set of, say, the technology, right planning, and right partners, you can easily mitigate it. Now, first of all, you need to have a right cloud service provider or an appropriate hypervisor environment. This microservices architecture is a cloud native architecture. That means it is made to, or it is built to run on cloud. So if you have a good cloud architecture supporting your cloud architecture that is supporting your environment, it goes well. Next, I will say that the data that you want to, or you need to migrate, this needs to be handled very carefully, since a lot of data that you want to migrate is very secure and sensitive data. So you need to plan that well. And the third one is how you are migrating. So the migration strategy itself is very important. You can use a big bang approach where the entire data can be migrated from your current platform to a new platform in one go overnight. Or, but then you have the biggest risk. If anything goes wrong, then everything need to be say rolled back, or you are in trouble. But so then there is another strategy. We call it a phased approach, where you have the chunks of data. You select the chunks of data that is migrated in phase-wise. That is migrated phase-wise. So you start with a small set of data, you migrate it, then you see how it works, and then you again select the next chunk of data that you want to migrate. I would suggest that, and I also advocate for this approach, because that is the safest, and though it takes some time, but you get there where you want to be. So Surajit, now since we know what a customer can expect, what do they need to consider while taking such a decision. So what do you recommend the telcos to look out while making such a decision, thinking from the point of view of customers?
Okay. Well, my answer is very definitive, and I think telcos should definitely consider an upgrade for both the short and long-term benefits that they achieve with a cloud deployed microservices architecture. And we have discussed that in detail in our conversation today. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Sudhanshu.
Same, yes, Rajit. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sudhanshu.
Thank you.